Okay, so we're back. I didn't know how to reverse my camera while still filming. So I wanted to show you some of the stuff that's in the greenhouse. These days, we still have a number of things that I salvaged from the end of fall that I brought inside. Um, Peppers take forever to grow, and so what you can do is you can trim them way back to the main stem of the plant, the main shoot of the plant, and they just kind of go into a dormant state. Then when it starts getting warm, they start producing again, and a lot faster than it would take to get starters to start to bear fruit, or even longer for to do seed to plant production. So that's why I save all my peppers now over winter, and that's part of the reason, one of the many plants that I have that I got this greenhouse tent for. This is lemongrass. This too wouldn't have made it if I didn't bring it into a warm climate. This stuff is wonderful for Thai dishes. It smells so good. Use this with some coconut milk and some tofu, and it's like sitting down at a Thai restaurant. Over here we've got some stevia that's not looking too hot, but I did the same thing with this plant, salvaging it, kind of taking it back to just a little bit of a primary stem here, and hoping that it would inspire new growth as it got warmer. And I believe that I'm seeing signs of that right down here. So when these start to get bigger, I can trim this back entirely. In the bed here, I have oregano, which I just looked up to be, it turns out this is a good companion plant for stevia. So, all of this stuff you just trim back and dry, and you use it in your cooking, or in this case, in your teas. I grow a lot of herbs for tea. So this is my all-natural sweetener. And, people have asked me, what's the deal with stevia? Some people say it's not so great. Some people say it's perfectly fine. Well, in my opinion, you go to buy stevia in the store, and somehow it's white powder. And so that just means that it's processed, because as you can very well see, the plant's not white. So what I do is I just dry these leaves out, and I put a couple leaves, I kind of break them up and put a couple leaves in my tea when it's steeping, and then you can just strain them off and drink it, and it's sweet tea without calories or sugar. So all natural way. Up here, these are new basils that I grew, and I started them in a hydroponic system. And then when they got big enough, I trimmed away the medium that they grow in the hydroponic system and transferred them to soil so they could continue to grow and get big, really big. This guy struggled a lot in its transfer, but it's coming back to life now. Over here, we have one that didn't have as many problems. As you can see, he's pretty happy and getting big and healthy, and not going to flower, which happens when it's too warm. So it's kind of an ideal temperature out here for these guys. More pepper plants over here. They're actually bearing fruit right now, which is kind of crazy and cool. These are hot peppers. I do love the spicy food. And these were shoots of a citronella plant that I trimmed off at the end of fall and stuck them in the soil, and they actually took hold. So those will be new healthy big plants that I will put into larger pots to keep them going and thriving. A couple rosemary plants back here, more rosemary down there. This is lemon balm, and I have just recently read that this brown on the outside of the leaves, like that, can be an indicator for a lack of potassium. So it's probably pretty confined in here, but I am seeing newer growth on the bottom that looks a lot healthier. So if we lift this up and we check the bottom, yep, sure enough, we've got the roots sprouting out the bottom. So this needs to just be up potted so that it has more room to grow and it's not struggling so bad. So I can do that probably today. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in eastern Tennessee. Last week we had another snow and it dipped down again. One night went into single digit cold temperatures for a low. So today's supposed to be like 44 degrees for a high or so. So we've got a little break in the action. Right now it's I think it's right around 40 degrees here in the greenhouse. We've got 79 degrees. And I did promise that I would do a video on this setup here in greater detail, and I haven't picked my husband's brain to get all of the insights on what he did here for me. But basically these are smart switches that I plugged my fan into, my heater, my little radiator heater here, and all of this is just running through an extension cord out the other side of the tent and up to a place where we have an electric plug outdoors to use. And then this guy is plugged in too, and all of these are on these sensor switches, and you can set them. This one, that the thermometer, obviously, or the thermostat, I guess it's not a thermostat, thermometer reading just tells us what the temperature is inside. But these guys kick on based on settings that I have on an app on my phone. So at 75 degrees, when it hits 75 degrees in here, the fan kicks on. When it hits less than 65 degrees, this heater kicks on at night. No, I think I set it at 55. So yeah, at 55 degrees, the heater kicks on. At 75 degrees, the fan kicks on. So it's kind of all automated, and I can check on my phone at any time to see what the temperature is inside. So cool little setup that my husband came up with. And I can give you those products that he used, and you know, how he programmed it all together. But that will have to be for a different video. I have over here, this is some jasmine that I bought this plant grown, and it is thriving well. It has had some brown spots. Again, that might be a lack of potassium. Possibly it could be some kind of infection. If y'all have any feedback, please leave that in the comments. If you've ever grown jasmine before, or if you recognize what type of deficiency or disease process that might be starting to happen on that plant, I would appreciate the feedback in the comment section. This is a fun thing that I did. I like trying new things, science experiments, what have you. This is a bunch of lettuce, and I just used a baking dish, and I started them with this cover on. It came with the baking dish. And once they started popping up, I removed this to give them a little more air. And yeah, so that's fun and exciting. I like, as I've said in many of my videos, I like repurposing stuff. Speaking of repurposing, the new thing that's happening in here is that I'm starting my seeds now. And typically I start them indoors, and as I start running out of room, I'll bring them out here. And so I implemented another heating pad. And you know, the thing about gardening is I want folks, I wanted to be able to do it in an affordable way. Well, I didn't have any choice in the matter but to do it in an affordable way. I can't be buying you know, crazy expensive niche stuff to make it happen. I always try to use, repurpose, and reuse. And so this, as you can see, is just a regular heating mat. It is not a growing mat. And you can find these all day long at garage sales and estate sales. I think I paid $3 for this. Sometimes people will just give them to you as hand-me-downs because they don't use them anymore. But it's the same thing. And it doesn't cost you $20. So you can see that all my heat-loving seeds are sitting on this mat here in the greenhouse. I've got, back there, I've got some eggplant sprouting. Up here I've got some pumpkins. I've got some ashwagandha. I've got chives, celery, and cantaloupe. And back here is some catnip, which I do have a cat, and the cat will probably appreciate that. But catnip is also used for medicinal purposes. So I'm growing that more for medicinal use than for my cat, to be honest. Back here I have some tea plants because I love tea, and this is, you know, traditional like black tea. I have lots of herbs that I use for teas, but I wanted to be able to grow black tea as well. These two are kind of in a dormant state. Like these are the leaves that were on the plants when I purchased I did purchase these as starters. So this spring I will up pot them into larger pots, give the roots a bit more room to grow, and hopefully they'll flourish under the warmer conditions when I'm able to put them back outside. These were just volunteer tomatoes that were popping up right at the end of fall, and I just felt bad about killing them off, so I stuck them in soil to see if they'd make it. As you can see, these two are not like thriving, but surviving, and perhaps with the change of temperature as spring comes along, they'll bust into action. Over here I have a little baby fig. It is in its dormant stage as well, but you can see that it has little buds on the end that are starting to turn green, and will start producing leaves again hopefully this spring. Got some chamomile. We've got more stevia back there, more basil, rosemary, more stevia back here. This guy was hurting too, and I checked the bottom of the pot that it was in and saw that they were coming out the bottom. So I have up potted that with new fresh soil and compost to try to get it happy again. And over here, folks, I need your help on this one. I have attempted to grow ginger, and over here turmeric, and there is nothing happening. So if you have any tricks of the trade on how I can make these guys happy, I know that they want warmth, which is why they're out here in the greenhouse. I've added a little sand because after I planted them in regular soil, I then read that they like sandy soil, so I added some of that, and I actually dug them up and brought them closer to the surface because I also saw a couple videos that said that was the way to do it. But there is nothing happening. Please leave in the comments if you have any idea how I can make these little ginger nodes happy. And I'm growing pumpkin this year. These I started on the 22nd of January. They have been transferred into these larger pots already. They're probably ready to be transferred out of those pots into even bigger pots. But anything that takes a long time to grow, I'm starting indoors, moving it out to the greenhouse, and then they'll be ready to put in the ground as soon as it's warm enough to do so. We got more citronella here. Now these guys got hit by the cold and the old wooden stems kind of died off, so I trimmed those back and all this new growth came up, and I'm so happy that I was able to save it. Same thing has happened with my rosemary. It was looking pretty sad. I did some trimming on this and now I have new growth again. Happy to see that. Anyway, I just wanted to give y'all a quick update on my temporary little greenhouse tent here. I think this thing cost me 140 bucks. And it seems to be serving its purpose. It helps me to maintain those plants I didn't want to die off entirely, and it's a great place to stow little seedlings as I'm getting a jump start on spring planting. I thank y'all for stopping by and checking out this video, and if you have any comments, tricks of the trade, or feedback on any one of these plants that we've reviewed here today, I sure would appreciate your comments. Hit that like button if you would, please, and share with other friends if you found this fun and interesting. Have a blessed day.